Alright, so we are back in my garage once again, and we are looking at a little bit different of a trolley up here. We do have a sectional tube rail up here installed, and well, I have a Genie arm, but I have a Stanley trolley. So, you guys probably already know what opener I have in here, so if we follow this back, you will see this bad boy. So, yeah, I put up the Stanley model ST400. This one was made in 1995, so it's a bit of a later Stanley. So, yeah, it looks really good up here, but, you know, it doesn't run the greatest, if I'm being honest. This one is quite loud, and I think the reason for that is just because the screws on the board are kind of, gone. So it isn't that loud. As you can tell, this thing kind of moves back and forth a little bit, but yeah, so that's kind of vibrating a little bit. And then also this rail is pretty bad. This rail bends all over the place when the door is running, and it's not very smooth. So yeah, it's not really the greatest opener in my opinion. I know a lot of people like the Stanleys, and I like them too, but really for what it is, it's not really all that great. So yeah, it is a chain cable. As per usual for the Stanleys, I have the chain pretty loose. This one pops like all holy hell when it opens, and I was kind of messing with the chain a little bit to see if adjusting the chains would help that at all, but it really kind of doesn't make a difference where it is, so I have it right there for now. I put a little bit of pressure on the door, so it might be a little bit less loose than it looks right now, but anyway. I don't have the sprocket cover on it because when I put this on, the chain kept trying to knock it off, and I didn't want to risk it, you know, getting caught up in the sprocket and chain and everything. So yeah, that's why I don't have that installed. And also, when I took the case off to try to figure out why it was being so loud, I saw this in the bottom of the case. So yeah, that's not a good sign. This is part of the gear case, I think. So yeah, that's not good. Obviously a chunk of the gear case broke off, so yeah, that's a little bit concerning, but hopefully it doesn't, you know, completely break while it's up here. I'm not leaving it up for very long. You know, I've had it up all day. I was gonna make my video earlier, but then it started pouring, so I'm making it this evening. But yeah, I just have a plain white rope on it with a Genie release knob. I just had a bunch of this white rope, so I figured I would use it on this machine. And yeah, so I do have this old button here. And I also got this Stanley 1050 recently. I've been wanting one of these for a long time, and I actually got one. This is a 1050-15. So yeah, this is really cool. Bought this recently, and it works for this. So yeah, let's go ahead and run it. As you can see, there you have your limit knobs, and the force knobs are on the back, along with the sensors. I just have my sensors sitting on that ladder. But let's go ahead and run it. We'll run it with this button here first. And here we go. It's actually being quieter now than it was earlier, which I guess is a good thing, but anyway, we'll run this back down. And you can see that that rail really does bend around. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that vibrating is mainly coming from the board. I suppose some of it could just be the case and light lens itself, but I'm pretty sure most of it's coming from the board. But anyway, I'll go ahead and get up here and get a top view with my beautiful 1050. So here's the back of it. And there's your chain adjustment right there. So let's go ahead and run this again. Yeah, if I push on the board, it stops vibrating. And I just let it go. So yeah, definitely is the board vibrating. There's the force knobs right there. Don't have to turn them up too much for this machine. And you can see this one was made in 1995. I'd like to get another Stanley at some point. The only reason why I even have this one is because I told the guy that picks openers up from the dumpster to take them to the recycling center or wherever that is. I told him to save a Stanley for me if he ever saw one, because I saw him taking stuff out one day, and he saved this for me. But I'd like to get one of the older ones with the yellow case, get one of those chain drives as well. But I'm still really happy to have this one. We'll go ahead and get an outside shot. Doesn't go all the way up, but this one comes pretty close actually. We'll run it with my 1050 here. It's kind of a slow operator actually. Anyway, we'll run it back up just from right over here. You can tell while the door is heavy, it pops a lot. Seems like it's only on the way up though. So yeah, there you go. I'll go ahead and get a sensor and force test. We'll come up here to the sensors first. Here is the sensors up here. This is the receiver, this bigger one. And then this smaller one here is the sender. So I'll go ahead and start it going down, and I'll just move these out of alignment. And you can see the light on the opener starts blinking. And this will keep blinking until you close it the next time. We'll go ahead and get a force test now, and you can see that the rail bends a lot when you trip the force. So yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but that thing almost bends up to the ceiling. And it does the exact same thing with the lights when you trip the force as well. So yeah, your limit knobs are right there. This one was pretty easy to set. I just turned the open limit down a bunch, and I set the trolley to where the door was just a little bit off the ground, and then I bumped the down one a little bit, and then I ran it and just bumped the open one until it was all the way up. So yeah, I really like that when you turn it, it actually runs the machine until it just kind of bumps the machine along until it's open. I really like that feature. We'll go ahead and run this back down. I know I've been talking forever here, but run this back down. Kind of quiet the board down a little bit. Grab onto it, like the wires here, kind of doesn't vibrate as much, although it's still bad. We'll go ahead and I'll run this one without the door. Pull on my release rope. I'll pull it back a little bit, and I will run it here. So yeah, and you can see the inner slide is just that little thing there. So yeah, we'll go ahead and run this back down. And hopefully it connects, although sometimes it doesn't quite go back in right. In fact, I'm actually gonna not have it try to click in, because it's still, yeah, you can kind of see. Sometimes it doesn't go in right if you don't kind of baby it along. You can see there that that's what it did. Sometimes you gotta kind of twist this back a little bit and then try to pull the door up. I don't know if I can do it one-handed. There. There we go. You kind of got to twist this because otherwise this thing won't fit through the trolley. You can see that happen there. So now we'll run it back down. So yeah, I guess trying to pull it back didn't matter. It still tripped the force anyway. All right, we'll run this one more time. I know this is another long video, but had a lot to say about this one. So anyway, we'll run this up one more time for back here. And yeah, you can tell it's definitely not a super fast machine. Also, I hope it doesn't do this. It did overheat a little bit, like my G5000 does sometimes. I did do that earlier a couple times when I was trying to test it out. So anyway, we'll run this back down from over here, and that'll be it. So yeah, there's the Stanley. Not the quietest machine, not the smoothest machine, definitely not the best rail, but it does work in here. Also, I didn't put the kicker on this one because just like when I showed the linear, this opener is a little bit wider. I should have cut an extra hole, or I should have left an extra hole on this kicker when I cut it, but I didn't, so what are you gonna do? Also, before I end the video, I wanted to point out how it's interesting that at least on this one, the Stanley logo is only on the right side. So you can tell there's no Stanley logo on this side, it's only on that side. So, yeah, there you go. Again, sorry for the longer video, but I did have a lot to say about this one, so yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.